All right, boys, I saw the Pokimane tweet. Let me go and make a video on this stuff because I know some people in my stream are asking me like what my thoughts are on everything. I'm just, honestly, I'm just that bored of my day today because I'm literally just sitting here refreshing to go and see if the PS5 is in stock. If any of you guys care about that, I'll leave the link in the description because I think there's been some rumors that it's going to get restocked. We're also giving away a PlayStation 5 if you're just subscribed. So just giving you guys the quick YouTube sellout here before we dive on into whatever this video is going to be, because good lord, Twitch drama is always fun, I guess. I don't know, I kind of miss the days of Twitch where we had like Ninja begging for Prime subs and stuff. I would go and stream and beg for gift subs to go get my emotes and all that, because we do have the cutest emotes, gotta go and say, on Twitch. Just saying, all 60 of them are adorable. So let's go, I guess, read into this and see. I probably won't give too many of my own opinions unless there's anything super crazy, but I'm sure all the drama seekers always like watching this stuff. So I got you guys. I'm here for you guys. My Twitch had always asked me about this stuff too anyway, so might as well talk about it. All right, so intro. I've talked about my experience with Fed in the past, and I'm really disappointed that leaked and misleading messages have made it necessary for me to respond once again. I feel forced to share my side of the story now with evidence and context. Always good. If you guys ever get in drama, always have the evidence, always have context, pictures, people backing you up. It's always important. To hopefully close this chapter once and for all. Yeah, dude, this drama's been like, what, 4 or 5 months old at this point? So, I mean, I know a lot of stuff resurfaced, but knowing how much it hurts that private convos leaked, yeah, it does suck. I can agree on that. I didn't want it to have to come to sharing more info that is also private to Fed and my friends involved. I mean, realistically, if someone already has it leaked, you're going to have to. I mean, I don't, no one ever wants to, but that's just like a necessary evil, I feel like. If someone's saying, hey, you did this, you got to go prove it or disprove it either way. I mean, it just happens, it sucks, but it's kind of a weird thing to say. Out of respect to their privacy, I'll only be talking about some of the things that were already shared and what my friends are comfortable with, which is good. I like whenever people ask beforehand, hey, can I share this? Hey, I'm getting into drama. I have to address this. People will ask me about it. So I'll give it respect. That's cool. I do like that. The leak. So I found about this document weeks ago because one of Fed's viewers DM'd me one of the offline TV members with a link to it, technically a prior version to it. There's no update to the bottoms or in private text. We're not in the document I saw. That seems a little bit suspicious because realistically, if you think there's a leak out already, you're probably going to want to go and address it earlier on, or at least be prepared to go and address it. And it kind of seemed like whenever I watched her random drama video, it didn't really seem like she was prepared to address it at all. And also, this is one of those things too where you kind of want to talk to the person and be like, hey, I saw this leaked. This is stuff that's pretty important to both our brands. If you ever want to stream again in the future, Fed, let's get this done. Let's talk about this. Or go and talk about Yvonne and offline TV in general, in private. So this is actually kind of a bad take, I'd say, for Pokimane. Like, I feel like realistically, you should probably talk about this earlier on rather than later. And the fact that they mentioned this beforehand seems a little bit weird. I was horrified that a viewer of his has such a private message as of mine. I merely contacted Fed. Okay, never mind. That takes back the whole point I just said. We spent a couple days talking things through and coming to an understanding on how to handle things. All right, good. I also informed him how the document was shared with me, so he was well aware of the specific person who was doing this. Over the next few weeks, I would have my close friends and other streamers message me and tell me they were also sent this document, sometimes from Fed, sometimes from Fed's viewers. That seems a little bit suspicious if someone already knows that they're leaking it and they're going to bring it back up. That almost seems kind of weird because, like I just said, if someone knows that the document's out there, has been leaked, and you've already been called out on it, typically I feel like people are not going to probably keep on sending it because you already get called out for it, and it's kind of a bad look. So if anything, I'd almost want to see if that's true or not. That's like one thing I'm like, I would never do that. I think most content creators would not do that. From other people, I can see for sure. Every time my privacy was further violated, I would tell Fed, and he would tell me to he'd speak to his viewer and have the Google Docs deleted. It kept happening multiple times afterwards, making it hard for him to believe that he didn't want it to be shared. Well, it already was shared. I don't know. Something about the wording about this already seems kind of off. I'm not like for Pokimane, against Pokimane, for Fed, or whatever. I'm just kind of reading it as I read it. I like to give context to the messages he included to me talking about Yvonne. I always feel like I say her name wrong, since the leaked documents attempt to imply that I was plotting against her when this was not the case at all. I'm really disappointed that he would try to publicly pit us against each other, especially since he knows us personally and the reality of the situation, on top of what he's already put Yvonne through. I gotta kind of agree. If like you keep on bringing up drama when people want to move on, that's usually a little bit oofy. I could agree on that. This situation is also heavily impacted by the fact that Fed touched Yvonne inappropriately, which is also very bad, which is something that OTV members weren't aware of until later. Please keep this in mind when reading the screenshots involved other House members because they didn't know and have done everything in their power to help Yvonne since they found out. Overall, kind of a random take. I always feel like a lot of the offline TV people seem really wholesome. I'm like some random guy just chiming on this drama because I'm bored, and so I'm not really leaning on any side. I do want to go and say if you do anything and sexually harass someone, that's bad no matter what. There's like almost no context defending that. There's no reason against that. That's really bad. Like, that's generally really bad. And also kind of stirring up the re-drama. It seems kind of weird, especially if Fed wants to stream or will stream again the next 2 or 3 months, because it's kind of like kind of reminding everyone that he exists, kind of painting other people on different sides, and kind of trying to bring more attention towards him. I'm not saying that Pokimane is innocent, because it kind of seems like there's a lot of always weird stuff kind of going on in general in this weird circle all around here. But overall, like, that is something to kind of consider. If that someone wants to go get back in the streaming scene, it is very nice to have all this extra attention of people talking about the stuff and doing the stuff. Like, it is actually very big, because now even I'm making a YouTube video on this and bringing this stuff up. But any of the stuff that I'm saying, I'm kind of just throwing my thoughts on the top of my head. I think all this stuff is bad. I think it's dumb. I think it shouldn't be public. It sucks that it did become public, and, you know, I guess what can you do type things. What can you do? So let's go read some of these texts. Goes into Yvonne's room. Yo, let's think of a prank content idea since Lily I'll be out. Immediately gets into a game of League. Smile. And then, so it's kind of saying like, okay, hey, you're not working. Let's go. I leave and she says, hey, you gonna think of something, right? So basically, he's just saying she's doing everything and you're lazy. Tell her what you think. All right. I'll do that now. Wow, I was surprised. I asked her when her game was done, I guess game, if she could come upstairs and brainstorm OTV stuff. She gave me this face. I want to keep playing. I gave her a long stare, then just walked out, which can be kind of be bad. Like, if that's your job to make stuff and manage stuff, it's, you know, annoying. Might hear whiteboarding, S word. I'll join you when I get Kit. You should tell her it's kind of part of her job though, which is kind of true. I could support all these screenshots. They're just trying to make someone do their job. That's fine. You know, I hate confrontations. Same boat. I don't know why I'm even making this video. I feel like if people are going to leave rude comments down below, I'm going to feel bad. I don't realistically think she can contribute much, but it's nice to have a human around. True. All right, so this is from May 25th, 2019, where Fed had shared screenshots of things I parroted about Yvonne later on October 5th, 2019. I was not the only person that Fed would vent to about Yvonne, though, so basically, apparently they keep on having all these other issues with her. We would also go to the House members and complain multiple times over, which eventually ultimately led to the point of OTV having a meeting to discuss everything. The below text or after the meeting that showcased that this topic stemmed from Fed bringing up issues about Yvonne. Hello, I talked to Toast before the meeting, and we agreed that we should only bring up Yvonne thing if we really considered a new third roommate, but I'm kind of glad. Oh, I didn't know. Plus, it kind of came up in an okay way. I think you guys segment into that. Maybe, yeah. No, I'm actually glad. I was like, why isn't Fed bringing it up? It's probably better this way, to be honest. If it came from me, she would feel, I don't know, different because of a relationship, but all good. Cat's out of the bag. Makes sense. I think it come out organically, which is nice. Scar had a lot to say. I always like Scar. I always feel like he's anti-drama, so I always like him in general. Let's go and see. I think I talked about it with Scar the most out of everyone. You had no clue. So basically, you complained to OTV members about Yvonne, which is like, this is kind of a weird thing to bring up though from Pokimane, because he's literally complaining about it to you. So obviously he's in like the okay mindset to go complain about it. So this is kind of a weird point for her to be making, in all honesty. Wait, this thing is 11 pages? Oh, my lord. As you can see, there were also other members of OTV that were speaking up on behalf of Fed, as it was gently because they were under the impression from Fed that there was a problem that needed fixing. At this point in time, no one else in the OTV house had the context that Fed had touched her inappropriately, which I think is that's probably the biggest thing, is that if someone kind of goes through that big traumatic sense, it's not good. Like, you kind of have to have a lot of time to recover. You have to go to therapy, especially if you're still around them all the time and getting reminded of that. And I think that's kind of what Fed's point was, funny enough. Not to kind of like throw out my opinion too harshly, but like, I always think that Fed was kind of being like, hey, I'm living around Pokimane. It's kind of hard for me to deal hearing her doing stuff, dating people, doing stuff, whatever. And this is literally the same exact thing, but just on Yvonne's side, where it's basically saying, hey, something bad happened. I have to always be around you. You're trying to talk to me. It's like big. It's affecting my job, affecting the business. And you can kind of see how that can kind of both weigh into the same points they're trying to make. But one, I think, kind of seems a lot worse and should be addressed faster. And it's more on the safety concern rather than just, you know, a bad breakup. So that's just my take on that. There was also a different set of texts that showed my concern for the lack of work being put into OTV during the beginning of the quarantine. At that time, everyone in the house, including Fed, content lead, and Yvonne, house manager, was very focused on streaming. I was worried OTV was left on the back burner. To contextualize my concerns, OTV had a history of hiring core employees that later became content creators, Fed, Chris Pekka, Edison, etc. And I'm generally happy for those people who are inspired to create and are successful for the overall sake of OTV company. There are important roles that be dedicated, which I can agree on that. I really kind of feel like that actually is a big thing where if you are a big organization, you still make money when it comes to sponsors, brand, agency talks, merch, especially merch is the biggest one, organizing group content, YouTube channels. It basically just kind of grows everyone. It's probably more beneficial for your own solo brand to do your own stuff. But realistically, if you're in a big content, it just helps out everyone, which is nice. It kind of spreads the viewers around too. In Fed's department, he claimed he told me what happened between them, but Fed also told Yvonne, and Yvonne shared this understatement in Dr. K Talk that he didn't remember what happened. I want to make it clear that I did not have full awareness of what Fed did to Yvonne during any of the tax incidents shown. It was briefly mentioned to me in late 2019, first by Yvonne and then Fed, that there was an uncomfortable incident that happened between them. I like how they also somehow call it uncomfortable, like, okay, that's like the biggest trying to throw underneath the bed you could ever go and do, to be fully honest. So, dude, I love Dr. K. Dr. K just seems like such a great guy. In my initial stream discussing Fed, I was extremely frustrated because I had just found out what fully happened to Yvonne, which I think is awful. Like, I really think whatever happened with Yvonne, I heard about all this stuff, that's bad. Like, I feel genuinely bad for her. So all the best wishes to her and her recovery and therapy and everything. And to think back in the times he complained to me about her and I blindly believed him made me livid, which that would make me mad too. That's like when you have that one friend who's trying to make you hate someone and they keep on throwing anything they can or stretching the truth to make someone feel bad. The same complaints that almost caused her to let go from OTV, even more so than that, I am frustrated with myself not speaking to Yvonne and understanding her earlier. Yeah, this is some of the big things I think from Pokimane that I'm noticing is that she kind of lets everything blow up, and then after the blow up happens, she's like, "Oh, I messed up." I mean, yeah, this is like whenever your friends are doing all this crazy, weird stuff that's not good, you should probably go talk to them. And all these people you can even see in these texts before where they're like, "I'm not good at confrontation. I'm scared to bring this stuff up." Yeah, like no one wants to bring up that your friends are being lazy or something bad happens with your friends or someone got like assaulted. But sometimes you have to bring it up for everyone to have the clarity. Like I know it's hard. It's really, really hard, without a doubt. But it kind of just seems like there's just a lot of miscommunication with all these people. It almost seems like high school drama, if anything. But yeah, I feel bad for her that she hasn't talked to her. In the context that I now have if I had done to her, of course I would never say those things or want her fired. Which that's good. That's good. Good take. In a position where I've reacted the same way. I agree. I totally agree. Like all this stuff that she's saying right there, I'm not a girl, but from a girl's perspective, I'm sure it's really important. Like you want to be safe when you're working. I think it's 1,000,000% important. Since then, Yvonne and I have talked in private about what I've said and came to her leaving understanding after an apology from my end. I regret the added stress we put her through. I'm so sorry to both Yvonne and anyone who read my messages with Fed that may have questioned her or her work ethic. So kind of cool. I heard Yvonne working back 2018, knowing that she was smart, thoughtful, and overall pleasure to work with. And I personally recommend her to the in-house position OTV. Cool. Actually cool. Okay, nice little comments. All right, so here's more of the juicy stuff on the Fed. Because I mean, for this, like, this is just more, I did not talk. We don't know the full story. We don't really know what's going on until everyone kind of came up to mention everything. And then now we all know the stuff. Like, that makes sense. Fed was the closest friend for a long time during the OTV Taiwan trip in February 2018. We became closer and considered pursuing a relationship. So wait. Wasn't that something that Pokimane kept on saying, that they were never really that close and never wanted to push that thing? I know the word considering kind of means a lot, but I feel like that might be a little bit of a hiccup I saw. Not that matters much. I'm just kind of seeing things I think that may seem a little bit suspicious. Not that it's suspicious. You guys know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. So where a lot of the fluid texts were shown in Fred's documents are from. A couple months later, after he visited me in Canada, and when we traveled back home together, I told him I didn't want to be more than friends around May 2018. Okay, so that's good clarification. So basically, they were considering, they were flirting, and then they're like, no, not really. Weeks later, OTV had held a party where I expressed interest in meeting a specific person, later referred to as Steve. Steve sounds like a Chad. After the party, Steve confided to me that Fed told him that Fed and I currently had a thing and asked Steve to not tell anyone. That seems a little bit suspicious on Fed. Like, that's kind of like, hey, we're not going to date. Hey, I want to date someone else. Hey, no, we're still dating. And it's kind of like almost seems very manipulative for sure. If it's true, I'm not sure 100% it's true. This really upset me and I felt like a massive breach of trust, especially since it happened after I told Fed I only want to be friends. I confronted Fed about this immediately, and after he apologized, also prior to my stream where I spoke about Yvonne and Lily's situation with Fed, I messaged him to give him the heads up, and he specifically asked me not to bring up it to the public. Okay. So basically some Janet stuff over here. Let's go read these. Thanks. I really appreciate that. Is there anything that you would really want me to leave out? I don't really know if I can accommodate, but I also don't know. I don't want to make things terribly difficult for you. I won't mention the super personal deeds, mainly some lies and instances where people felt manipulated. If you can find it to leave out telling us about that you and we were a thing. Dude, this is so hard to read because I just feel like the wording for this seems weird. It's something I would just not liked mentioned, but I understand if not. Otherwise, I trust you, and I think doing what's best for Lily and Yvonne comfort is the right play. So I can't leave that out because it's the best, easiest example I can give of lying. Hi, Fed. Yeah, just a little bit. Don't know the details. Just that there was an intervention. How are you doing? And he said, well, pretty bad. Got him in to talk. I can give you the details. And so we called. And he told me about what I thought was everything. He told me about him and the Steve situation with you. He made a Janet that he lied to Steve, and he lied a lot. Okay. Which makes sense. So that's actually pretty good supporting stuff just for mention the same exact story she put up there. But like realistically, it still kind of just seems like weird, petty, I still like you. Do you still like me? No, not really. Well, I still like you type stuff. Like a lot of high school stuff. So this is why it's so difficult for me to believe him when he just now, years after the incident and months after it became public, attempts to deny it. So Fed has been known to be a serial flirt. This was brought up several times in an intervention we held for Fed, where several girls in our close circle spoke on situations where he'd crossed boundaries and made them uncomfortable. The girls in the intervention were all okay with this info being shared. For a long time, we all thought his flirtatious tendencies were just an incident and natural part of who he was. I mean, I take responsibility for the times that I later reciprocated and the ways. So that's like the biggest issue right here. Like, I just got to be honest with you guys. They're all going and complaining about how he's crossing boundaries, but then she is still letting him go and cross these boundaries. Like, I get it. It might be hard, especially if you're neighbors, especially if you're like living right next to each other, you have business stuff. But like in some of the initial memes and texts where she's talking about how she's doing the dirty deed, that is not necessarily being forced into talking about it. Really, I don't know. That seems like that's like a really, 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 really bad. Like really bad just cross in my opinion. I understand that I don't know the full context, but I mean I just feel like that's rough. And the ways in which this could have been complicated friendship, which I totally get that at least she's owning up to it, which is good. I'd also constantly hear of the ways in which he flirted with other girls in his ships, and often saw it on his streams as well, which made any reciprocations feel casual and insignificant. It may have been naive, but it was far from how he's intended to portray me. I try to be transparent about who I was seeing in a conscious effort to be open and not lead him on, which I now realize struck Fed as hurtful. Yeah, that's dumb. Like if someone's dating someone, you just got to be honest. Like you got to move on at some point. I understand it must be tough to move on from someone you live with, but I figured it would be better that I was upfront and hear directly from you. That's good. That's all good stuff. Good stuff. Solutions that I would frequently hear of and witness him flirting with and pursuing other girls, even my close friends. Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of like we broke up. We're talking to other people, dating people. I get it. That's fine. This is like the weirdest thing I think in all the drama, where Fed also had a weird habit of sleeping in girls' beds. Like, that must be like a weird fetish or something. I don't know. Or like he was just always trying to maybe make the next move or see if something would happen. It just seems weird. Maybe viewers might have remembered this because it was something we all spoke on as an odd habit, and we thought the sleepovers were strange but harmless and just for fun. I mean, like, this is kind of what I just made that point on before, where like they're talking about how they're doing the dirty deed, and then the guy's trying to sleep in your bed or visit your bed overnight. Like, it's not harmless and just for fun. Like, a lot of this kind of comes down to that these people are just not understanding, I guess, what he was doing. Maybe as a guy, it's easier for me to understand. Like if I saw one of my guy friends doing this, I'd be like, bro, you're being creepy, stop. But a lot of this could have been like a lot more easily averted of just them being like, you're being actually creepy, stop. Like they mentioned there's an intervention. It should not have to come to an intervention. Like if someone's doing this stuff and they feel uncomfortable, say it then. Like I feel like I know it's harder in the situation. I really don't want to defend Fed at all. But like some of these things that they're saying just kind of make me like just think so badly on them. Like sometimes you have to go and be stern and say your expectations and your feelings. Like it's really annoying that they keep on bringing that up. I understand it's harder though. I totally get that it's harder, but Fed clearly enjoyed the comfort and intimacy he could find in his friendship with many girls, and I was no exception. Unfortunately, he also had a habit of pushing that boundary not only me but other girls as well, which was difficult for us to properly manage while considering the large friendship circle and dynamic. I mean, like if it was hard enough that they had a legitimate sit-down intervention, it's clearly getting really bad and it should be addressed. Like I understand it's difficult, everything is difficult, but you just now you guys are making Google Docs against each other that are 15 pages long. this could have been all sorted out a long time ago, or at least been in the process of having it sorted out. Or if we go to therapy together. Everyone keeps on saying therapy. Like, you guys are all rich people in California. Literally go to therapy. Like, if it's that big of an issue. Like, it really, this just has to be addressed. And I know it's hard. I really know it's hard. And I'm kind of harping on that, so I feel bad that I'm harping on it. But you just have to address this stuff. You really just have to. If I include a message of the hotel room discussions that were misleading and taken out of context, to clarify, a few of us even wound up in Vegas at the same time around December 6th, 2018. I was there for a sponsored event with Lily, while Fed and some other friends were there separately for fun. Messaged him and told him we, well as myself and the girls, had a hotel room. I wanted for all of us to stay together in his much larger... I wanted for us to all stay together in his much larger room for fun, unless he wanted to stay alone so he could be at the liberty to bring any girl home with him. So all four of us, me, Lily, Fed, Yvonne, stayed together in Fed's rooms for that. Okay. Never and I stayed alone. There was photo and proof video evidence, and this interaction was not intended to be romantic or suggested. Okay, kind of cool. So, okay, that proves everything. So we get a hotel, but I can still stay in yours, but also I can stay in mine because, you know, personally, I'm good to stay in other rooms if you need privacy. Okay. If you don't respond, then I'm just going to go to mine. Mine smile. You sure we don't want to give you the freedom to do whatever you want? And no worries, we have 2 beds in the other room. Yes. Beg for me to stay with you. Cringe joke, LOL. A joke, KK, I'll come if you're sure. Yes, I'm sure, KK, say it again. Yes, okay, please stay with me. Yeah, that could definitely, as a guy, I can maybe see that being a little bit, if there was like past romantic tension or stuff, tension going on, I could see that being a little, you know, For those in the group, Shabby, Yvonne, and Lily can also confirm they were collectively stand together. It's extremely frustrating to see so many private and old incidents represented intentionally favor him. It's also difficult to properly show my perspective without further invading Fed's privacy or the girl's privacy. At this point, like, literally just go and bring up everything. Like, bring up your own privacy. At this point, you're already on page 7. Just... It might be extra special. I know I'm not really trying to get more drama into it, but some of the points are just not really pushing too home. Or more so, it just seems weird or off. Overall, I'm supporting Pokimane. I think Fed's kind of done a lot of weird stuff and bad stuff. It's not good, but realistically, just you need better support than this, especially with how many people, probably millions of people, are going to care about this. So, in summary, I hear a lot of hurt feelings from Fed's statement when it comes to our friendship, which could make sense. They were dating. There's always gonna be bad feelings. I cared about Fed a lot, and I wouldn't have wanted to hurt him. His feelings are valid and a good reminder to me that one person thinks may be going on in a friendship don't always match up with the other, which is really, that's an important thing to know, especially for content creators, because no one really knows what's going on behind the scenes. Even I don't. I'm just a random guy reading this. I don't even know why I'm reading this. Looking back, I would have done a lot of things differently. Good. That's kind of been the thing I've been harping on. Good. Please, like, be more stern for yourself, stand up for yourself. I know it's hard. Go to therapy, do whatever. Kick him out of your room. Don't lead him on. Don't keep on leading these weird texts. Like, please. Our private conversations heavily lacked context, and I'm not okay with how they're being misrepresented. They're still not even being represented that well, but... Jody. The way Fed framed my conversation with him regarding Jody is extremely one-sided. This is something that Jody and I have talked about privately weeks ago, where I've owned up to. So it kind of seems like there's a lot of, hey, I messed up and I'm owning up to. I've been noticing this a lot in Pokimane's things, which I guess is good for the private people. For publicly, it's not too good. The 2 pieces of context I'd like to provide: that 1, earlier in the day, I was under the impression that they were going on a date and I was being supportive, and 2, the things I said about Jody are essentially me parroting Fed's opinion of her, which he also shared with me earlier that day. They were also a result of my perception of her being skewed and negative because of the info he gave me about how he felt exploited by her, my poor choice to believe a rumor. A lot of this stuff from Pokimane is kind of just her hearing stuff and then her just saying, oh yeah, this is totally true. Like, it's kind of making me kind of feel bad about her. Just because it kind of seems like a lot of her stuff is like, well, I didn't know, and then once again, it leads to this stuff. It's kind of nuts. Also, let me know if your date with Jody goes. Geez, this year has been unreal for you. Haha, not going on any date with her. Oh, stop. You'd be down if she was in town. Just let me know how it goes. I like the stories. Okay, sure, I'll let you know. I'll let you know. I like the honesty. No, but for real, not remotely interested in her. In all honesty, me, Leslie, and Yvonne talked about this. I feel hella exploited. And we all hang out in, let's say, Minecraft. She ignores Leslie and all the girls. Big yikes. Doesn't sound normal. Isn't she really close with Leslie? I can tell she's really trying to push the fatty thing. And according to Leslie, no mo. These guys are not good at tech. Like, that's like the big thing I've come from all this. These guys are just bad at talking. Maybe she's not the most considerate person. Let's talk about going on a date. If that's not really how you feel, it's a bit hypocritical because, of course, that pushes the phony thing. Then with the Minecraft stuff, Leslie refused to play with her now. We all think trying to push the Fody thing for views. So obvious when we're not hanging out and she's memeing and everyone else feels hella left out. All right, so basically it's kind of saying they're dating is kind of a joke. Okay, I mean, that doesn't really show anything. That just kind of shows that he's just not interested in the girl. Okay, whatever. You know me much more, but I feel there's no use sharing text of past drama, and I want this is literally the entire thing is just past drama. What the heck? I want to avoid doing so out of privacy and respect for my friends. The conversation with me being very surprised. Last text shown below, my perspective of Jody being very skewed and negative. I had a concern for Fed saying he felt exploited. Furthermore, as the morning text show, I was trying to be supportive and foster friendship where we can be more open with each other and talk about the people we're seeing. I mean, realistically, if that's all true, like if she was getting views and getting more subs and she didn't really like him and he didn't like her, I guess they're both kind of exploiting each other. Makes sense. That same day, I heard Jody speaking about Fed and her stream, and having heard all these negative things about her from him, I had a very skewed perception of everything he said. Here's a reply he intentionally left out from the screenshot, showcasing that this was not a one-sided exchange, and this was encouraging it. All right, I can't stand people obviously acting more drunk than they are, saying fake pity S-word to chat. Makes me gag. Anyways, that's my vent of the day. LOL. I love you. Have a good stream. Sorry for spam while you're streaming. LOLs. LOL legit turned on. There's a I love you. What the heck? Please continue. I love it. So basically, they're all just going and like just literally shit talking each other the entire times. Like what the heck? They're literally just what the fuck. This is a very similar pattern for Fed and I, and many of my friends spoke about something I specifically called him out for in the first stream and directly linked to the intervention. He would spread doubt and rumors, egging people to think negatively of each other and dividing people up. Well, I kind of feel like at the same time still too as well, they're kind of like okay with it. Like they're kind of okay hearing the drama, talk about the drama, and even Pokimane said I want to hear the story. So I mean, they're kind of feeding into like the, hey, I want to hear the deets. Hey, I hear the drama, and that's not good. Like if you don't like it, you just stop. You don't keep on doing this. The screenshots and context show how disingenuous Fed was in an attempt to frame this conversation as me being possessive of him. Regardless, I really regret having spoken to Jody in this way. Jersey experience facts. Conclusion. Ultimately, my complicated and volatile friendship with Fed had no part of why he was kicked off of Outline TV. Well, yeah, he was being like a sexual assailant. And such private details never need to be public. It's extremely jarring to have my privacy violated by someone I trusted for so long. Out of respect to my friends who are mentioning these convos, they're all shown tags and courtesy, even the option declining convos being included in any parts of the convos are blocked. I don't know. My overall thoughts on this is why'd I just go and sit here and read this for 26 minutes and why'd I make a YouTube video on it? I don't even care. Like, what is this? In my ending result, they both just seem like bad people. Like, I'm just being honest. At least from just what I've been shown. I don't care. Their streams are entertaining. Pokimane has a good content. I think she conducts herself really well. I think she's a nice person. I think her stream's entertaining. But like all this drama is just so dumb. I don't think anyone even needed to hear about it in the first place. So I support Pokimane that this should never have been leaked. But also a lot of the Pokimane things like 4 or 5 times throughout this document are her saying, yeah, after this all came out, then I was like, oh, I feel sorry. Or then I apologize or whatever. But you can even see in some of the text, she was kind of egging stuff on and saying she wants to hear stories and kind of leading on dates and, hey, I don't like these were kind of somewhat flirty text, even if they're jokes. Like she just kind of dug herself in a hole, and I feel like she's just, I don't know, like they're just both in the wrong. Like I don't even know why I read this. Like even though I agree in this document, I kind of feel like Pokimane is still someone in the wrong, just for how she acted with all these people, how she blindly trusted people. I know she says that, but once you kind of blindly trust someone 5 times and you're still having drama and still leaking text from years ago, like at this point, just. Like, you guys just have to just focus on streaming, focus on yourselves, enjoy yourselves, and just don't care about, like, all this weird stuff and dating and everything. Like, don't date your roommate, don't date your boss, don't date your coworker. It's, like, the #1 biggest life skill that people always go and say. I don't know. Like, this was just such a waste of time to go and read. I think, honestly, kind of bad at Pokimane. I really think that she needs to kind of go be more stern with her feelings. And if someone's crossing the boundaries, especially for all these other women, you tell them, you make it either public, you go and talk to therapy, you talk to have a proper manager for your squad and kind of go to them. That's why companies have HR. I know it's hard in the situation, but like this is like 5 or 6 attempts just off of this alone versus all the other ones. Like if something bad's going on, you got to talk about it. That's like the first thing we learn as we're kids. If you're in school and someone's bullying you or doing something, tell someone, tell a counselor, tell a teacher, tell your parents, tell anything. So the fact that this is all now going through Google document, all this stuff, this is just in like, what is this? Anyway, I think Fed did really bad stuff. You should never be like, you know, hurting people, especially to the extent that he did, touching people, any of that stuff. It's awful. That's bad. Like that's inexcusable without a doubt. Like that's like the end all be all. If you do something like that to any girl or anyone and makes them feel that bad, that's awful. Without a doubt. Pokimane trying to go now and to get some weird drama is kind of strange because it doesn't necessarily fully support it too much. I think Fed either way definitely did try to lead a lot of people on, try to go and make everyone kind of be on his side. That's not excusable either, but Pokimane definitely kind of kept on letting it on in terms of relationship stuff, what they were saying, their own gossip, the kind of flirty messages that she even showed over here. And the fact that they let all this stuff go on for so long, especially if one of their friends was, you know, harassed, that's just bad on all their parts. Like, I don't know how this really kind of makes someone look that good, because for me, reading this as just a normal outsider, it just kind of feel like they let all their friends get hurt and they hurt their friends. And they're trying to say sorry for it later on. And maybe they generally mean they're sorry. But realistically, this is just a lot of different accounts of them being like, hey, I was gossiping about you. I was saying bad things about you behind your back. I was not believing you. I was thinking you were lazy, and kind of blaming it on someone else instead of talking to them. And they even said, hey, I felt bad that I didn't talk to him in the first place. But realistically, that should have happened on every one of these occasions first. And hopefully in the future, they will keep on doing that. But I guess my final thoughts is, I don't know why I sat here and read through all this. I'm just that bored. Overall, I still think they're good streamers. Like, my end results, in case this ever people actually watch this, Pokimane has a good stream. She seems nice. She's done charity streams. She seems like a good person. Fed seemed like a really kind of big goofball in terms of his stream. If he streams again, just try not to get drunk. A lot of the stuff seems like he got drunk. Don't go and harass your friends. And realistically, go and keep on seeking therapy for both of them. Like that's the end result here. If they're both seeing therapy, both trying to grow as people, that's good. Pokimane needs to be more assertive. They need to get some proper management for OTV, so they can have an HR or a proper manager that actually has power to go and find people, let them make less money, actually kick them out of the group, etc. And I think the group overall kind of seems a little bit too high schooly and needs somewhat of a more mature business on end for it to make everything better. But that's, I guess, my final takes on it. I still think Fed harassing one of his friends is awful. There's no doubt about it. I think Pokimane kind of having all this stuff on here doesn't really help her case. But realistically, this is just all drama. Why do we even care at the end of the day? Let them just go do their streams. Let them just go make their content. And hopefully they can just be not bad people outside of their content, and it'll be fine. But that's the end of my video. I don't know why anyone would even want to sit here and watch this. If you guys did, I guess leave a like, subscribe, or whatever. If you guys want me to do more of this cringy stuff, let me know. I probably will end up just removing this video because I realized I just wasted 30 minutes of my life even reading this and giving opinions on people I don't even know. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you guys all later on in the next one. And make sure you guys go and, I guess, check it out. The PlayStation 5 is available. I'll put a description on it down below. Thanks for watching.